Question number 314 has been asked by the Honourable Shiviti to the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation. The question is about the measures to boost public and private research development investment despite departmental budget cuts. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and thanks to Honourable Shiviti for the question. A number of interventions that we are making. The first one is that our Department of Science, Technology and Innovation has a task team that has been set up under the Interministerial Committee on Science, Technology and Innovation, using a tool of what we call STI budget coordination. This task team consists of my department, National Treasury, and the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. Simply to do this, that there are a number of departments that have got budgets on science, technology and innovation. And that in order to maximize the spend and the impact, these departments' budgets needs to talk to each other and be able to be coordinated so that we are able to maximize expenditure. So this mechanism is in the process of being finalized in terms of achieving this objective of maximum budget coordination. Also, science, technology and innovation priorities also leverage support from both National Treasury and the Department of Performance Monitoring and Evaluation through incorporation of STI priorities on both planning and budgeting regime and frameworks of government, like the Medium-Term Expenditure Committee. As a department also, the second major initiative is that we are accessing funds for science infrastructure from the budget facility on infrastructure that is run by National Treasury. We are also putting a lot of effort in mobilizing private sector investment into science, technology and innovation in order to increase the footprint of R&D in our society. We are also continuing with what we call the Research and Development Tax Incentive that is aimed at encouraging the private sector to increase investment by giving incentives in this regard. We also have what we call the Innovation Fund, which is a public-private partnership fund aimed at catalyzing private sector co-investment into South African venture capital. The last thing, briefly, Madam Deputy Speaker, we also have got international partnerships with the European Union, for instance, which has got funds that are sourced competitively. We are also having partnerships with BRICS, including the New Development Bank, which also has got some funds that are set aside for infrastructure, as well as working with the Belt and Road Initiative of the Chinese government. These are some of the ways and means of addressing the challenge of underfunding and budget cuts that is affecting my department. Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker.
The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Shiviti.
Minister, what specific measures do you plan to implement to increase research and development investment by the public and private sector as a catalyst to economic growth and industrialization, given the substantial budget reduction of your department?
The Honourable Minister.
Point of order.
Thank you, Minister. The point of order, I cannot see who it is. Honourable Ndlozi, what is your point of order?
Yeah, with respect, Honourable Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Member read the original question again, literally word by word. She repeated word by word the original question which appears in the question paper. She doesn't have a follow-up.
Honourable Ndlozi.
It's wrong. We're not
Honourable
taking
Ndlozi,
Parliament's
please take your chair. Please take your seat. Honourable Ndlozi, the decision to decide whether it is a new question the same question rests with the presiding officer and the minister. So I will leave it to the minister to reply. It is not for members to take points of order on whether the question is now another question or that it is the same question. Thank you. Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Madam Speaker. Uhlele endaweni wrong ingakho ubuza into esingazazi nje akufanele ngabe usahleli lapha.
This place that is wrong.
Uhamba nini?
Uhamba nini uya?
Honourable.
Honourable members, could you please direct anything through the chair? Honourable Minister, please proceed, but please speak through the Deputy Chair.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, my apologies, Madam Deputy Speaker. I think that in addition to what I have said, we should also address the question, and thanks for the question, Honourable Member, is that our own spending now, we are reviewing very seriously our own spending as a department. Much as our budget is just over 8 billion rands.
Point of order, Chair.
The point of order, please indicate there at the back. Yes, please proceed with your point of order, member.
Can the minister take a question?
That is not a point of order. Honourable Minister, please proceed.
Thank you very much. We are now focusing on a portfolio approach to say that we group our spending according to priority portfolio areas, again in order to maximize mobilization of funds and expenditure. We are also re-looking at allocating our budget as a department better in order also to identify partners that are willing to partner with us in order to increase investment. Also, as I have said, co-investment together with specific departments in particular areas. For example, the Department of Agriculture, in terms of dealing with the impact of climate change, we may work with them together, co-fund certain programs so that we are able to maximize expenditure to try and deal with the shortfalls that we have. In other words, we are trying to be innovative as the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker.
The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Ramunhalo.
Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Ndlozi, is it a point of order?
Yes, Deputy Speaker. In terms of Rule 142, subsection 6, it says, and I read, a supplementary question must arise from the original question. There's a definition of supplementary question. I request with you, Speaker, to be consistent with the rules as we move on. It is out of order for a member to stand in the opportunity for a supplementary question and read the original question. You should have ruled that as out of order, and the precedence now is said that I can simply stand and in an opportunity of a supplementary question ask the original question, which is inconsistent with the rules. Thanks.
Thank you, Honourable Ndlozi. The fact of the matter is that if the honourable member wished to repeat the original question, it is that honourable member who is forfeiting the opportunity to ask another question. So I have ruled on it, and that is my ruling. We will now proceed. The Honourable Ramon Khalu.
Thank you, Speaker. To the Honourable Minister, the committee undertook an extensive oversight and saw that undoubtedly this department has the ability to grow and diversify the South African economy, as well as making South Africa a serious player in the international science, technology, and innovation world. Given the importance of this field and possibilities we possess as a world leader in these fields, is the Minister in talks with other countries as to how we can become larger players on the world stage of science, technology, and innovation? And if so, could the Minister elaborate on what the talks involve?
The Honourable Minister.
Thanks, Honourable Deputy Speaker. And thanks for your positive comment to the member to realize the potential that our department has, which indeed it is true and correct. We've got fairly extensive international relations as this department. And we also undertake what we call science democracy, science diplomacy, in order to use science to strengthen our international relations. We've got extensive relations in the African continent, which is our priority globally, that as South Africa we cannot be able to develop as an island without looking at the rest of the continent. We are very active in the Science, Technology and Innovation Program of the African Union, including the whole area of supporting the AU's Agenda 2063. We also, by the way, spend a little bit of the money that we have in the continent to support what we call the Oliver Tambo South African Africa Research Chairs. And we fund quite a number of them in a number of African countries for those African countries to undertake research in the priority areas for themselves and also for purposes of collaborating amongst ourselves as African countries. As I have said, we've got extensive relations with the European Union, which has got a number of research instruments which a number of African countries actually apply for. We are also a very active member of UNESCO. The education science...
Honourable Minister, your time has expired.
Thank you very much, Honourable Madam Deputy
The third
Speaker.
supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Paulson.
Thank you, Chairperson. Minister, the reality is that these budget cuts will continue under the GNU government, including those departments that you're going to lean on to give their budget towards research and development. So how do you plan on meeting your own National Development Plan target of 1.5% investment in research and development by 2030? 1.5% of GDP in research and development by 2030. And also, given the relatively low involvement and investment by the private sector in research and development, I know you said you're going to get increased funding from them, increased investment from them. How do you plan on stimulating that increase in research and development from the private sector? Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. Honourable Paulson, I think that I've actually addressed quite a number of the issues from what I have said. I have largely answered them. And if you can ask your colleagues to be a little bit more behaved, it would help for you to listen to what I'm going to say. Firstly, it's incorrect to say I'm asking my partner departments to give their research and development money to me. You didn't hear me properly. I said all departments, most of them have got money set aside for science, technology, and innovation, which they must spend in their own programs. But it's helpful if we can better coordinate that spend so that where they are double spending, we are able to realign that so that we are able to make maximum possible impact. Secondly, I haven't given up lobbying Treasury for more money. It's very clear, as the other honorable member who asked earlier, without investment into science, technology, and innovation, we are in trouble even in terms of growing and developing our economy. So I will continue to lobby, and I have not given up. And the fact that we have now an interministerial committee appointed by the President on science, technology, and innovation, that places us better to increase the spend on science and technology, which, by the way, is not the same as spending on my department, because we are looking at our national system of science, technology, and innovation as a whole. So those are some of the measures that we are actually going to take. And welcome back, long time no see, Honorable Paulsen. Thank you.
The last supplementary question will be asked by the Honourable Boshoff.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker and Honourable Minister. I think it is clear that the Department of Science and Innovation is one of those departments that if you cut spending, it's not all that visible, but in the long term, it's a huge problem. And then we have also seen that this department has a huge impact. It has the ability to spend its money, and it has the ability to account for it properly. In that sense, it's quite a good candidate for more money. Now, in your previous department, there's the very privileged 1% skills development levy, which goes to the sectoral education and training ecosystem and the skills development fund. And what I would like to know is, would you engage your previous department and the Minister of Higher Education in maybe redesigning the whole sectoral education and training landscape in such a way that maybe 50% of that 1% on the national wage bill can be invested in research and development? I thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Boshoff, for those comments and questions, which, by the way, are very helpful. We are not raising this for the first time. We were together in my committee in the 6th administration. I do wish to say to you that indeed I am engaging with a view or to have certain monies from the skills fund to be set aside for high-end skills. I am in the process of engaging on that, but the decision finally is not mine. I'll also engage the Minister of Higher Education and Training on that score. But I also do want to say, by the way, that already over the past 5 years, a number of SETAs have been funding skills programs in the CSIR. We've got a massive internship program, which is run by the Human Sciences Research Council. So what you are saying, I entirely agree with, is something that I'm going to follow. Just lastly, by the way, you will remember also that from the National Skills Fund, last year we set aside R1 billion for the presidential PhD program, which aims to take our brightest PhDs for research and postdoctoral studies in many parts of the world, so that in particular we can acquire the skills that we do not have so that they can bring them back and work here in South Africa. Baie dankie, Agbare Boshoff.